Welcome to the Oldhombre podcast. It's me, Mense, and
And me, Andrew. Good evening, everybody.
good evening, everyone. Welcome to the
Everyone.
Oldhombre podcast. This is your friendly podcast dedicated to three subjects: business analysis or business trends in general, work life, and the beyond, which is retirement. Andrew, in the old fashioned or standard fashion, how has your week been?
It's been okay. I did an event in London, and you know what they're like, on your feet for 8 or 9 hours, pretending that you're really interested in everybody that walks by. I had a really funny one. There was this quite elderly West Indian gentleman,
Yeah.
and obviously knew his stuff, and he's been doing it for years. Yeah, we started talking about monolith applications and I asked him one question,
Yeah.
because he was in software. And I said, so how do you see AI affecting, what you do and what others do in the software? And see, without exaggeration, 35 minutes. 35 minutes. I'm looking around for somebody to help me,
Yeah.
and all they kept doing is looking over, laughing, and then ignoring my pleas.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
What were these
it's like,
people part of your
please,
team?
somebody call me over, or somebody say, Andrew, I need you. No, 35 minutes. He spoke particularly about a company called Capita, which I know you know,
Yeah.
and this project that he did, etc. 35 minutes. In the end, I had to say, look, I know it's really rude, but I am dying to go to the toilet.
Do you know what? It's mad, and you know the worst thing is when you just know it has nothing to do with what you do, and there's no direction
No,
whatsoever on it.
no,
You're
no.
not gonna get anywhere with it, and yeah, that's the end of that.
But do
Um,
you know what? What stopped me from getting sort of upset or anything
yeah,
like that? A, he was a really nice guy,
right,
yeah, and B, he was really passionate,
yeah,
yeah, and I thought, you know what? I know it's irrelevant. He is not the right company, the right persona. He's just there for a day out, and thinking somebody's sent him. But he was so passionate about the projects that he spoke about. Um,
it's
and
infectious to some degree, and at least someone's bloody passionate about what they do,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
There's a load of miserable sods out there
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're just like, ugh, I don't
and
even.
and you had your usual people, walking around just getting as many freebies as they possibly can.
Do they still give those out in events? I mean, because I've been to quite a few industry events, and all I'm seeing now is everyone just going back to like just giving away notepads, and that's it.
Well, yes, that was it. It was notepads, some pens as
Yeah,
usual, and some people were still trying to get rid of their branded socks.
yeah,
Um, but you know what these people are like. They will pick up anything, okay?
right,
But the sad thing about it is that they'll dump most of it in the bin when they get home.
right,
Yeah. For me, I must admit, if there's a nice pen that you can use, that you'll keep, and a notepad, I'm happy.
right.
Yeah. Notepad and pen, especially if it's a nice pen.
Yeah,
Not, but yeah, there was a load of them, and yeah, it just seemed a bit of a waste of time. But you know what? It's part and parcel of sales nowadays.
yeah,
We
yeah.
can't cold call, we can't email. Heaven forbid you reach out to somebody on their
Heaven forbid.
personal LinkedIn.
Heaven forbid. Yeah, it seems like events is the only thing that
Yeah,
we've got kind of left.
yeah,
And funny enough, people are complaining about going to those as well. But I think it all comes full circle, Andrew. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
how long
yeah,
can you moan about the same thing? And how, eventually you need to meet people. So yeah,
yeah,
events in the business world are still, in any type of world, are still quite important. I mean, we thought people would never go out again after COVID, but it just happens. And you know what?
yeah.
Funny enough, Andrew, I saw this meme on LinkedIn, which kind of resonates with what you're saying. So legacy software companies add in an AI chatbot to their products, and they've got to put the squeezy thing on a bar of soap. And you know what? It very much feels like everyone is just trying to cram in a one of these, any AI feature. Oh, let's get an AI feature on a dog bowl.
Yeah.
Let's get an
Yeah.
AI feature into, like, I don't know, just random stuff, and you just think to yourself, is this really needed? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah. It's just like, what's the latest buzzword that we can use?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. So I know we're gonna get onto the thingy soon, but I don't know, nobody's watching, but I want to do a competition.
Yeah.
Okay, and the competition is just guess what's different about Andrew this week.
Oh, wow. Wow,
Yeah.
I like that. So put that in the comments. I would love
Exactly.
to guess,
The
but I don't want to
prize
ruin the
is
game.
one of my famous cardigans. Okay, I have a nice green one here, exactly the same model.
Wow.
Okay, brand new.
Yep.
And I bet nobody guesses what the difference is this week. And I went through a lot of pain.
Okay.
To have it
All
done.
right. Okay. So you can give us the answer next week. But yeah,
Yes.
this believe it or not, Andrew, I think this is episode 8, isn't it? Or is it 9?
9. It's 9.
This is episode 9.
It's 9.1.
9.1, and we'll explain why it's a 9.1. But yeah,
Come on.
we're still at it. Hopefully. So why is it 9.1? So you'll notice that we're trying to get into the cadence of doing this on a Sunday.
Yes.
And we were actually on time. We did it on Friday. We had planned. We spoke for about 2 hours. We had a fantastic episode, really organized for everyone.
You had a presentation up.
Yeah.
Everything.
You noticed that I'm wearing a new mic, and I've also got another mic here because I'm trying to improve the sound quality because I've seen a little disparity on the different episodes that we've done so far. And we didn't record 50% of the episode. Every single time we were screen sharing, we were all on mute because these mics were fudging it all. So yeah, hopefully we don't have to redo this episode again. But this is actually the second time we're gonna do this episode. But something's a little bit different about the world, Andrew.
Really?
Do you know what's different about the world? We have woken up to a new world today.
We have woken up to a new world. And do you know what?
Well, what's new about it? Because we might be talking about two completely different things.
Oh, I'm talking about Mr. Trump.
Oh, I'm talking about Mr. Trump too. Fantastic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And one of the things that surprises me, and maybe it's because of my lack of education on these things, share prices.
Yeah.
The Dow Jones, the S&P 500. Yeah.
Market confidence. I'll be honest with you though. I did actually read a book. I can't for the life of me remember what the book is. But markets do tend to bump up a couple of percentages, or 1 point something percent after a Republican win, and then it gets back to normal again. There isn't actually a permanent effect because obviously, the guy's only been in office for I don't even think he is in office. He won't be in office.
No, he's not. He's
so it's all just market confidence, speculation.
I think Kamala's due to sort of throw in the towel officially later tonight.
It's done now. It's done. But anyway, that's about enough of that. We said we wouldn't discuss politics.
And one quick question for you, actually, and I'm just checking my response here. So my nearest and dearest said to me this morning, she said, a silly question, but what is the equivalent? Is he conservative? Is he,
conservative.
UK? And I said, yes, conservative. And I said, but to be honest with you, they both are. One is a little bit more right than the other. I just wanted to check sanity check if that was the right answer.
Yeah. It's America, man. It's going to be capitalism. It's going to be the American way. And that's all they care about. But obviously, one's got nuances on what they think the future is, and the other one has. But we're probably going to be the only podcast today that isn't going to do a drill down on the US election.
Which is good. Yeah, which is good.
I think there's enough content on that online. But anyway, let's pivot to our ever-growing fame segment, the Insta Wolly segment. Or Wolly of the week, should we say?
What do you think I am, mate? Some sort of Wolly.
Right, yeah. So we had to actually call it Wolly of the Week because we don't always find the Wolly of the Week on Instagram. So we don't want to limit ourselves.
Although there is a lot of Wollies on Instagram.
There are a lot of Wollies, but not necessarily business-related Wollies.
No.
So anyway, so let's get to sharing this screen. Right. So this week, and I've had to source new Wollies of the week because then your reaction, Andrew, isn't going to be the same if we just go through the same thing.
That's
right?
true.
So really, right. So this episode is going to really drill down into the retail space, right? We're going to go a bit further down the rabbit hole and understanding what's happening to the UK retail sector specifically clothing, and also we're just going to look more into it. So with that in mind, I wanted to show you, I've been calling Temu and all these Chinese retail companies.
Apparently it's Temu.
Oh, well, Temu. Anyways.
Well,
do you know what? Funny enough, I was speaking to my daughter this morning. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, because I was talking about the elections and I was talking about the fact that Trump's gonna put tariffs up and it's probably gonna affect. And then I said Shine, and she was like, stop, it's Shein. I was like, oh, for God's sake. Anyway, so I've been talking about Temu previous episodes. If you don't know about it, get to know. They're like this platform where you can get all sorts of cheap stuff. It's like Alibaba on steroids, but rather than being in business to business, you could just buy any tat, or apparently it's full of gold and lots of cheap prices. Andrew's going to talk about it in a bit. But
just go on now. Let's play this. And I'll just.
But there is. So I've been calling it the Del Boy platform because honestly, you don't know what you're going to get. You're either going to get a fantastic deal or a load of tat. And there is this guy that has literally built a channel dedicated to showing that the whole thing is built on, is this product actually going to do what it does? So Andrew, I want to show you a couple examples.
I'm gutted because I thought we could actually do a Temu section, whereas I would invest, I don't know, £3.50 on a weekly basis.
Well, you know what, this guy's going to save you a fortune because he's actually built content on this. So let's show you this one. Oh, all right, let's get the volume up. Okay, so Andrew, can you see my screen? Hopefully you can.
Indeed.
Yep, fantastic. All right, let's play this bad boy.
What the? I need this now.
So he sees the advert.
Yep.
I need this now. Buys it.
Wow. This.
So these are trainers. They're meant to be, impermeable. They're meant to stay that white for forever.
Yep.
Never dirty white shoes. Its secret keep it always clean and white, no matter what dirt gets on it. Let's now test. Soy sauce and ketchup. Okay. Witness miracle. What?
Yeah.
It should be clean. It's not.
And then he does this thing where he starts crying. Another trash bought there plus 80, and he does this habitually, right? This isn't the only one. So shout out to Kiddy. Oh my God, yeah, it's not gonna happen, is it? 2.9 million followers.
Yoshimi, wow.
This
2.9.
is 2.9 million followers. This is all he does, and I think it's legit.
That's almost as much as us.
But that's all he does. Usually I'll be like, oh, he's bought followers. No, with the amount of money that Temu's put out there to get their stuff on our thing, I wouldn't be surprised if a good portion of them would be like, okay, this guy's actually testing out the products for us. We're going to follow him. So I think this is a legit, following, right? Let's go into another example. Huh?
Bought followers.
So you can buy followers, you could buy bots.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we could do a whole different segment on that as well. Yeah, especially in China as well. Like they've got like farms where phones will just follow you and they'll watch your lives and it helps. But yeah, this is a real thing. Anyway. So it's a mini cam of some sorts, right?
Looks
where you can
amazing.
take these pictures, nice blurry pictures, but it's a tiny camera. I mean, if it does half of this, we're good to go, right, Andrew?
Yeah, we are. Absolutely.
All right. So let's see if it delivers.
I need it on my desk now. This is the world's smallest kitchen camera. It snaps photos, records videos. It's even got 8 built-in filters. All right, let's now test. All right, let's see. Wow, this is amazing.
So yeah, so you know what? like, in fairness, I tried to give a balance to you because I'm not trying to tank
Yeah,
the stock value of Temu. I'm just saying, this guy has so many of these videos. You've got to follow him. And honestly, it's going to save you a fortune. But the fact, I mean, I guess...
I'm just... Sorry, you may have to cut this.
Why are you laughing?
We've got so many followers that the Temu stock value may tank.
Yeah. I just realised how bloody... Look, let a man dream. Let a man dream, yeah? Our influence is going to be so big one day, right? We're going to clip this. It's going to be so big one day that Jim Cramer will have nothing on us. We will say that something's going to happen and it will tank the next day. Oh, my God. What a Wolly. See, there you go. I'm going to auto-assign myself Wolly. But anyway,
Brilliant.
why is it a Wolly of the Week? Well, I think this platform's the Wolly of the Week. The fact that 2.9 million followers can amass a page under the expectation that something might not work goes to show that there's a quality control issue with this company.
I just want to add to that is that I have, on the back of our podcasts and what you, because until we did this, I never knew what Temu was, right?
Yeah.
Until, one of the sessions that we did, one of the episodes. And I have invested a total of, I think, around £80. Yeah, on some things from Temu. I bought you a gift.
Oh my God.
I bought you a gift. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to surprise it. I've actually had an email yesterday saying the goods have been shipped.
Wow.
Right?
So this is exciting.
So,
I want you to, in a little diary, just write, the experience, what it was like.
Absolutely.
I want an actual segment on Andrew's Temu experience.
Well,
right?
The thing is, Bensi, is I had some of Paula's friends in the house. I don't know what they were actually. It's just I think they were friends in there. And I've seen this young lady before, and she had a problem with her phone before.
Right.
Couldn't get into it and asked for my help and blah blah. Anyway, I just said to her, how's your phone doing? And then she said, oh yeah, it's great, but I've ordered some bits and pieces from this thing called Temu. I went, oh really? You order from? Oh, I order from it all the time. I order leggings. I order cheap T-shirts and blah. It's better than. You know what? The more I speak to people about it, the more people go, yeah, I order from there all the time. And sometimes, yeah, it's crap, but a lot of the time, you know what? It's half decent. So, my.
But that's basically a market stall. That's basically a Del Boy market stall.
Yeah,
You're like, it might just work. Do you know what I mean? And that's the attitude. But I just, again, we're going to speak about this later on, but it's really, really, really affecting our retail industries, and we'll go into this a bit further down. But let's not get too serious too early.
Absolutely is. I mean, absolutely. She's got she's got quite an elderly grandmother in her 70s, and this lady is buying off Temu.
Yep.
Yeah. She's buying off TikTok. She sees things on TikTok. So, some of the comments we made about, retirement and the digital cashless age, you know what? There are some older people out there that have embraced it.
I'm telling you, mate. I'm telling you. The revolution has started.
Yeah.
Right. So, next one. Andrew, I wanted to introduce you to a comedian, right? His name, I can't remember what his name is. In fact, hold on a second. His name is Official Spuds. You probably have never come across him before. No. But today is the day I changed your life. So he likes to play a CEO. And he just walks into random offices and just claims to be, he claims to be the CEO, and he starts just firing people on the spot. And this stuff is absolute class.
This is real.
The bollocks on the guy. The bollocks. Like he also does lift trivia. So he gets into, sometimes he will go into Elephant Castle lift.
Right.
And he will start, there's two lifts in Elephant Castle. He would just start going up and down and playing trivia games in the lift itself.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like he's really,
Well, you know what? Creative. I've got to give him
very
that.
creative,
at least he's not sitting there going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at the way he does this. It's just incredible, right?
good to be back.
So he's saying it's good to be back because he took a break from doing this, right?
Oh, right.
And now he's back at it again, right? Oh, pardon me.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Spuds. I am the CEO of this company. So straight off the bat, Marie, you're fired. Okay? So you can pack your stuff, call it a day, okay? Stewie, because you're fired also.
Cheers.
Yeah? So you can pack your things, get rid of the jumper. It doesn't suit you, doesn't fit you. You'll never...
Imagine the guy's wearing a suit and Crocs, walked in with a random mug, and he just thought, oh, I'm just going to cause chaos, mate. This is it, right?
Smiling, all right? So you can call it a day. And Terry, you get to stay, because only Terry wears a hoodie while working in an insurance company, right? So is that it? Is there anything else you need to tell me?
No, just to leave if you could.
Leave.
Yeah.
You could tell by his reaction that it's legitimate, right?
Yeah.
No.
No? Yeah.
No.
Come on.
Come on.
We're in an office. We're trying to work.
And I'm the
it.
manager.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Listen, you know me. You know me. I hired you when you had hair. Now you look like an elbow. There's no persuading. I'm the boss here. So I need everyone to pack their stuff, except for you, Terry, okay? And clear up in here. It smells like a dog died in here, all right? Everyone, take care. See you later. Oh, you got me. You got me. You got me good. Spud for that.
No.
All right, no spud. Ah, I'm good. How are you?
So security's
I'm just
obviously
leaving.
come.
Nice to meet you. I got some bad news to tell you, though. I don't like the gel on the hair. You're fired. All right? See you later.
Yeah, and that's it.
I'll
He
tell you
does
what,
this.
He's got some guts, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of these, by the way. So that's him. Obviously, he does diverse content. His name's Official Spuds, but let's see if I can find one more CEO thing just to show you the cojones on this guy, because I'm not sure if we're allowed to say the other word. Oh, he's been doing a lot of muscle stuff lately. Bloody hell, all he's been doing is working out. No wonder he hasn't done this for a while. So look, that's his lift trivia in there. So you just get into Elephant Castle.
You coughed. So do the test when you get home because you coughed in the lips. I saw you there. Yeah, just to be safe. Which fruit seed is on the outside?
Strawberry.
Correct. You look like an Oliver. I'm going to give you...
I'll go Oliver. This sounds a bit posh.
You get a £10 gift card. Raise of hands who doesn't have sex on the first date. Raise your hands if you don't have sex on the first date. Okay, we've got some skates. I like it. We've got some skates. That's fine.
So yeah, that's it. But yeah, that's second Wolly of the week. Wolly in a nice way, though. Wolly in a nice way, you know.
Again, I like the creativity. I like it takes a lot of guts to just walk into an office, with shirt and tie and a pair of Crocs.
Absolute legend.
Yeah.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That was good.
Right. And then this one is the third.
Please be the woman. I got told my workout.
Yeah, I saw this, but I'll be honest with you, it was a bit pants. This article.
Okay,
wait, why does this pop up continue coming up? Sorry, audience. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's not actually a video, but she told her. Apparently, she got told that her outfit was seeking attention. And
You need to find someone to cover your shit.
I looked at the article, and actually, it was it was more clickbait. But this one is one that gave me a bit of food for thought. Tell me how you feel about this.
I'm single, but at work, I'm married and I got a bunch of kids. I do not care because I've noticed working in the corporate world that people who are married and have a family usually get better privileges than someone who is a single person who doesn't have any kids. So at my next job, I'm married and I got a bunch of kids. They already be thinking my celibacy ring is my wedding ring anyway, so I'm gonna just play it off like it is. Like, yeah, that's my wedding ring, that's my engagement ring.
Mate, with those frames, I don't think he needs a bloody celibacy ring.
No.
But anyway...
I'll be honest with you, it harps back onto our corporate wellness episode. And when you look at some of the benefits that you get a lot of it is geared towards, married, 2 children, etc., etc.
Right.
If either you're young and single and you're old and your kids have moved out, you tend to lose out a little bit. You do tend to lose out a little bit on some of the things, there's things like, family day offs and there's things like, paternity leave and
Well,
a few other bits.
I took no paternity leave.
No, I know.
I haven't had any family days. I don't know what benefits this guy's talking about, to be honest. But maybe the Wolly of the week is I, because I haven't noticed any of these privileges.
Well, I can't remember. I think it was at the company we both worked at together.
Yeah.
And I went to HR. I used to give her a lot of stick.
Right.
And I did say to her, well, I've got my children grown up. I've got no dog. I don't do this. I don't do that. What the hell's the point of me signing up to this benefit crap?
Right.
And I said it in a really sarcastic manner because I used to give her a lot of stick all the time. And just thinking about that now, he's got a point. There is a lot that's sort of geared towards a certain person,
right.
and the people at the opposite ends of that spectrum do tend to miss out. So yeah. Anyway,
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I called him a bit of an Insta Wolly because I don't think anyone's going to believe him anyway, regardless of what he does. Right. So business deep dive. So Andrew, we got quite a bit to go through today. The good news is I've already practiced it once before, so hopefully we can move through this pretty swiftly and share some valuable information with our audience. Right. So what's been happening in the clothing retail space? We've spoken about this a while. We've got amalgamation of pressures from external companies in China, the likes of Temu and Shine. Why have they been pressurizing the European economy on clothing retail? Well, you've got Shine, which is China's biggest kind of ASOS-like platform for clothing, and they not only do they have really, really good proximity to manufacturers that can turn out products in a couple of days from design to creation and ship like within a span of 3 to 4 days in small batches, which means they accrue less risk. They can deploy product to customers without necessarily incurring massive costs. Not only do they have that advantage, they're also not paying tax on, I think, packages that are less than £80 or something like that, Andrew?
Yeah, I can never remember the figure.
Right.
I remember when I used to import a lot years ago, it was around 35 quid.
Right.
But I'm sure it's changed since then.
Right, but the point is this: they've got small packages. They're not paying, a tax because basically our custom agencies can't go through all of these tiny packages, right? We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands. So it has to go above a certain threshold for them to have to legally declare it as a product, being sold.
Yeah.
So
and we used to also mark if it was a bigger package.
Yeah.
And we used to mark it as samples.
Yeah, well, exactly. There you
Zero
go.
value
Right.
samples.
So they've got all these advantages, whilst our UK businesses, as well as the likes of Zara and all these other great companies across Europe, well, they're being squeezed by this competition, right? So I was watching a documentary the other day, Andrew, and apparently, if you've got 2 to 3% market share, that's enough for you to become a multi. There's so many retailers, but if they can all just carve out a 2, 3, 4% market share within the European market, it makes them the likes of Zara, Gap. This is pretty standard. But Temu and Shine are really making a dent on that, and it's been really hard for our UK businesses to compete. So, why is this relevant? Well, every other day, Andrew, since we've started this podcast, there has been a new article, in the news, specifying that one of our UK retail businesses are struggling, and the latest one, as of today, to show that they're struggling.
This shocks me.
Primark. This
shocks me.
is absolutely incredible to me, because we know how Primark operates, how it manufactures. It's had this brand for a long time on very cheap clothing. You go to the stores, they're rammed, right, Andrew? They're absolutely rammed. Tourists from Saudi Arabia will go to Saudi Arabia, but the Arab. I even see like people that I stereotypically thought were affluent still come to the UK specifically to buy loads of bag of Primark goods, right? And I've seen Primark survive the 2008 crisis, economic crisis, so many different down periods, and I just find it really, really tough to stomach that Primark is now saying something very, very similar to the other businesses. Sorry, Andrew, I didn't let you speak there.
No, I'm just saying, adding to what you said, it's got a very loyal following. And in fact, to some of the international buyers or the foreign buyers that come to UK and sort of make a beeline for Primark, even the paper bag that says Primark on it is of high value. To take it back and
really?
say, oh, mate, I had a young lady come over from Tel Aviv a couple of years back.
Yeah.
And she treated that paperwork bag as if it was like a Louis Vuitton or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
In my secondary school days, we wouldn't be caught dead with a Primark bag.
Yeah, I know.
That's incredible how times have shifted, right? So this is, right, so we'll go into this, right? So believe it or not, Andrew, you may not know this. Audience, I didn't know this until a couple of years back. Primark is actually owned by Associated British Foods.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Incredible. So Associated British Foods, what else do they own, Andrew, in the food industry?
Oh, loads of stuff. Look at a lot of the brands that you eat. Something I think Hovis bread and then all sorts things that you wouldn't know. They've got a whole.
Let me check this out. British Foods. Brands. Let's go. Brands. Oh God, it's not as straightforward. What do they own?
Well, I'll tell you what they own. They own Primark,
Ovaltine, Ryvita.
Patak's the curry pastes.
Yep.
There's a whole heap of.
They're like a Nestle. They're like a Nestle here in the UK, right?
Exactly. And there are a lot of brands and things that we don't even know and we never heard of. A lot of even down to meals for flour and stuff like that. There's a whole heap of things.
Right. So Andrew, this article from Primark, what they're about to tell us is that they're going to have to raise prices because of the new tax changes that are happening here in the UK. So for those of you that don't live in the UK and may be watching us, I'm sure there might be one of you.
Oh, there's millions.
National insurance tax is basically an extra tax that employers and employees pay to the government on top of standard tax, like tax earnings, right? The threshold used to be something like you could earn up to like 9 or 10K a year without the company that you work for having to pay national insurance tax on your behalf, and also for yourself as well. So it used to be very, very low. But this obviously goes up as your earning brackets go up. Well, now what they're saying is if you make 500 to if you make 1,000 to 4,000 a month, you pay 8%. And then, wait, let's get this right. Andrew, I'm not showing this correctly, am I? What does this mean? What does this mean?
Basically, the gist of it is that employers and employees each had to make contributions.
Yeah.
So the Labour government promised that there would be no direct taxes, so they couldn't raise the employees' tax. So what they did was put the tax earnest onto the employer.
Yeah.
So now basically national insurance contributions by the employer have not only gone up in the amounts, i.e. the percentage that they have to pay, but because the threshold has gone down, they now have to start paying much earlier. Yeah. And as you said before, if you were earning 9,000 or less, then there was no national insurance implications or payments due. Right. Now that's dropped down. So how this affects organisations like Primark and things like that, if you can imagine, a lot of their employees are part-time students, older people that may be doing part-time, or just people that are on what's that contract? 0 hour contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's all of a sudden become really expensive to employ people, much more expensive than it was 2 months ago.
Okay. But I just wanted to know what the difference was, but I can't seem to figure that out from this. So lower earnings limit is now.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's now 533 per month.
Yeah.
Basically, like, so anything above that, then you're bumping up. You're gonna have to pay.
It's gone to 6,000, almost 6,400.
Yeah.
Anything above that, you're paying national insurance.
But the fact of the matter is, before
huge...
you didn't have to pay that. You didn't have to pay
Correct,
that because the threshold was high for companies to be kind of tax free. So
but on top of that, they've increased the minimum wage.
Oh, and on top, so it's almost trapping companies to then have to pay these taxes, and that's what this. Thank you so much for clearing that, Andrew. And that's what these articles are going to. Well, this is what this Primark article is going to be about, right? So, if we look at now this Primark thing, right? So now with that in mind, they're saying that they've had still challenges because of weather, right? Because they do a lot of their business on-prem at their stores, and then they're saying it's preparing for the rise of costs because of these new changes to taxes, and they're basically now suggesting that the firm's going to have to actually recruit outside of the UK. So despite the prospects in rising of costs, so they can actually bump up the prices of their stock, because they're going to have to offload those expenses somewhere else, and it sure isn't going to be the business. And it says basically they're saying overall Primark sales across the UK and Ireland grew 0.7 in the year, and it said that the sportswear job had gone particularly well. But basically, all of that progress is now cancelled by the new tax burden. And Primark is now really, really thinking of no longer expanding in the UK and thinking of other territories. And that's an absolute disaster for our economy here in the UK. So imagine if they have to raise their prices for their products, and they were known as the cheapest brand, right, Andrew?
Yeah. And you mentioned a really good point there about, they operate on premise, i.e., physical stores. They are one of the few organisations that you can't do online shopping. They don't have it.
Yeah.
And you can click and collect, but you still have to physically go to the shop. And the reason behind that is it was a lot about impulse purchases. Those trousers are cheap. Yeah, I'll get one of those. There's a T-shirt for £2. I'll get one of those.
Yeah.
And by the time you got to the till, you started off with about £10. Honestly, I've never been to Primark and spent...
It's never a cheap experience, is it?
Never.
It ends up scaling up, right? Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the whole business.
So you imagine if those prices go up, and then you got the likes of Temu. We've got another disastrous tornado coming our way.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? They're a big employer. They're a big employer. They're a big. You said it yourself. They're a big tourist attraction. It's weird to say that Primark, but it is a big tourist attraction. You've got coach loads of people from China, from Africa, from Europe, and they make a straight beeline because they want that Primark. Look, I've got a T-shirt for. I am wearing Primark. This is Primark. It was £1.50, and I tell you what, it's lasted me a year. I know it's nothing special, but there you go, and that's what draws it. But you go, £1.50. I'll have 3 of them. Oh, hang on, and then you get towards the till, and there's little sweets and socks and what have you. It is not a cheap experience, but that's how they do their business, and it's very clever.
Yep, exactly. And coming back to the main retail theme, ASOS. There you go. They're back on the news. ASOS is struggling. So, is it as seen on screen? Is that what they stand for? As seen on screen?
I think that's what it was supposed to be. Yeah,
anyway,
I'm not 100% sure.
So elsewhere on Tuesday, online retail giant ASOS reported mounted losses reaching 393 million in the year to September the 1st. it's just bananas the way we're compounding losses in the UK clothing retail space. And, you know, just expanding on that just a little bit more, I'm going to see if I can find another article kind of further explaining this. So let's see. Yeah, here we go. So Andrew, I'm going to share this with you. This is the Retail Gazette. I didn't even know the Retail had a Gazette. Right. So
in the industry papers.
Yeah. So ASOS loses. So ASOS losses widen to 379 million, but it sees green shoots. So new CEO started in 2022. He's basically come in and he said, right, we're going to do cost savings. And I'm going to show a little presentation on this in a bit, right? But it seems like from the last annual report that was released earlier this year, he was going heavy on operational cost savings, you know, limiting returns, all of this good stuff. And despite that, the business is still saying that it's posted a pre-tax loss of 379 million, and it's down from a loss of 296 million in the previous years, as sales plunged by 18% to 2.9 billion. So everything's going south, mate. And obviously he's kind of scrambling to say, oh, look, you know, we're still changing and there's going to be progress. So say, looking forward, ASOS plans to build its back to fashion strategy, adding exciting brand partners, enhancing customer experiences, expanding its test and react model to 20% of its own brand sales, and launching a loyalty program alongside the launch of a standalone site for Topshop. I'm not sure, Andrew. I'm not sure this is enough to save the business. And yeah, let's go a bit more into that.
Like I say, it's tough for retailers out there. They're being attacked by all corners. You know, they're competing for a market that's very fickle, constantly changing, lots of wastage. Not so much wastage in it's going off, but wastage in it's going out of date. And now, you know, Shein and people like that, where, you know, it's tough. It is tough, and all of that lovely gump that you just read out sounds
well, it's
amazing.
A word salad. It's a word salad, right? And this is what I want to show you, Andrew. Right? This is what one of our major industries in this country is relying on. So what I've done is, guys, for those of you listening, I am now investing a bit more time in actually reading annual accounts. So annual reports. Basically, your CEOs get together, the CEO and all the chief executive staff get together, and they have to justify their performance to their investors. It's probably one of the times when they really summarize everything. The raw numbers are there, and they got to spin up a story to justify it. So if times are bad and the numbers are south, oh my gosh, you're gonna get a word salad, right? And they're gonna explain why things are going wrong. If times are good,
and just to add to that, I'm not reading anything. I'm just winging it.
Right. Well, there you go. He's a genius.
The thing is that, you know what? Sometimes, you know, reading the reports is really good, but also you've got your own experiences and things like that
100%,
as well. So So sometimes this word salad just doesn't wash with people.
No.
And reading the reports actually, you know what, gives the real story.
Exactly. So what I've done is, in the past, Andrew, I invested in Boohoo.com.
Yep.
It was my early days of investing. I just saw that the stock had tanked maybe 60 or 50% at a time, and I saw everyone down my road, like all the young people wearing Boohoo Man and all this type of stuff, and I went, do you know what? There's no way this business is going to go to zero. It's already gone down significantly. I'm only going to be quids in. Well, guess what? That was about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. And my stock is now down 80% from when I bought it. Yeah? Really bad. Good news is I only put in a couple of £100. So that couple of £100 is now 40 quid. But the great thing is it's allowed me to keep my finger on the pulse, because sometimes you've got skin in the game, so you start educating yourself. So I've done a comparison between ASOS and Boohoo, and this is what we found out. Right, so CEOs, keep it nice and short. Jose Antonio, one of my fellow Spaniards, probably. I mean, I doubt he's Cambodian, but yeah, he started in 2022. And then we have John Little, who was CEO in 2019. However, he's recently been ousted for a new CEO, which was the ex-CEO of Debenhams, right? Right. Target market. They both used to aim for 20-something-year-olds. Customer stats. We're looking at 23 million users in ASOS versus 16.2 million in Boohoo. Now, this spans across Europe, Andrew, and it also spans across America and thingy. But let's be honest, the majority of their customer base are still in the UK. It's around 60%, something like that. The biggest market share is UK. They've kind of been trying to conquer the US. But you can imagine the challenges behind that when you really got to get it right in your home turf first, right? So I actually think the customer stats is very impressive. If we make a finger in the air estimation, 23 million, let's just say 15 of that or 12 million of that are UK customers. Well, Andrew, there's only about 65 million
people in the UK.
People in the UK. So that's probably around 10 million young people. Same thing for ASOS, right? So I think these are really impressive numbers, which is why you can kind of justify the hyper growth of these companies and why 8 to 10 years ago, I mean, they were everywhere, Andrew, right? You used to go into the local office and used to see people just ordering ASOS bags every other day.
All the time.
It was absolutely crazy. So now it's just like, for me, Andrew, I know the world changes quick, but damn, it's changed too quick. In the space of 4 to 5 years, how has it gone downhill? And that's what we want to explore here. But Andrew, I'll let you say your
It's interesting you say that about the bags, because it's just occurred to me as you said that. I mean, I've got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And I used to get annoyed at the doorbell going, and it would be an ASOS bag. Yeah. I don't think I've seen one in at least a year.
Exactly. I mean, I don't go to the office much anymore, but again, I don't see my female colleagues, and it's mainly women that like really kind of hyper buy. We don't see it anymore. So something has changed. Right, so they shoot it up, and then numbers started to go down, right? Which is what we've been looking at across both businesses, Boohoo and ASOS. Right, so how are they planning to turn this around? Well, Andrew, Jose from ASOS, he's gone, right, we've been really, really, really successful. We grew very quick, but sometimes when you grow quick, you're not really focused on doing things in the most perfect way. You're just kind of racing towards getting as much revenue as possible.
Yeah, you're catching up.
So he's saying, right, 23 million active users. We've got a good level of market share here, right? Now we have to make that existing user base profitable and as profitable as possible. So he's created something called the Drive-In Change Agenda. It's all about operational excellence. So what are the things that we're talking about? Well, we're talking about things like, actually, let me park that first. So Drive-In Change Agenda, that's the only thing that ASOS is really focused on. It's one unified message across the whole business, right?
But what does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, we're going to get into that.
We're
going to get that into that, right?
Right.
So Boohoo, they've gone, we need to have some operational efficiency as well. However, we're going to expand into the US. And we've got this really good center in Leeds that allows us to kind of automate parcels and send everything as quickly as possible. We need the equivalent in the US so that we can aggressively grow our market share down there, right? Cool. So they decided last August to invest 23 million in the development of a warehouse or distribution center in Pennsylvania. Fancy Pennsylvania, right? 1.1 million square feet. I mean, Andrew, imagine what you could do with that space. Right, cool. And they said, nothing screams 20-something-year-olds like Debenhams. So they decided to acquire the most hip brand to the youngsters, Debenhams. A place where my mum used to go on a weekly basis and buy absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Somehow, and please, audience, if you have a real good rationale as to why this was a good idea, they bought Debenhams. It was up for sale. It wasn't doing very well. And they thought, let's take the bricks and mortar model and we'll just put it online. We can tap into the brand partners that they have. So they resell other people's products. So we'll start kind of selling different brands as well. So they've now inherited 1,600 new brand partners via Debenhams. Successful, right? It's going to be great. We'll see. Right. So what are the main problems? ASOS, too much stock, selling stuff on discounts, and we just alluded to it, returns. The amount of people that were just clicking on everything and going, well, I could just return it for free. No cost, put it back in the bag, take it to the post office, lovely jubbly, job done. Or is it? We're going to find out how long that's lasted, right? And then with our good old friends in Boohoo, they're saying there's less consumer spend. They're talking about cost of living crisis and all that stuff. You know it gets bad when they start talking about cost of living crisis. That seems to be the main theme in most annual reports for businesses that aren't doing well. And then also they said they got too many brands. So interesting, they had too many brands. They had prettyliving.com, Boohoo Man, Boohoo Women, all of this good stuff. But I know what we'll do. We're just going to add another 1,600 new brands.
Why not?
I don't understand
Hang on a second. Prettylittlething.com, Boohoo Man, Boohoo Woman, Estee Lauder?
Yeah. I mean, make it make sense. But maybe that's why I'm down 80%, Andrew. Maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, cool. So, those are key stats. What's ASOS doing? Let's talk about this whole, what did we call it again? Drive and change agenda. Right, let's see what it really means. So they're saying faster development of new styles. Does that sound familiar, Andrew? It's the Sheen play.
It does.
It's the Sheen play.
Yeah.
They're basically saying, we're getting screwed. Our competitors, they're doing all this, all these, from design to production, 4 days, and they're very efficient. We need to get on that bandwagon, right? So faster development of new styles is what they're saying. They're saying faster reactions on those that perform strongly. So before, they used to bulk buy, right? They used to get a design, they say, this is going to be successful, get loads of it, get it over the line. Well, they're now saying, let's test it, right?
Yep.
And then scale up the thing. It's right out of the Temu playbook, right?
Yeah.
Which makes me think, so they call it a test and react model for the highest fashion product, which moves from design to site within 2 weeks.
Right. So a question, and maybe, may not be able to answer it right now, but one thing that jumps at me straight away, Temu, China, cheap labor, lots of factories, right?
Slave labor, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, well,
allegedly.
Labor for pennies.
Yeah.
How are they going to compete on that? I know they're going to do Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Turkey, Vietnam, etc. Right?
But that's what they've been doing all along, and they're still getting beaten.
This is what I'm saying. Is that, there's different laws in the UK where, if you found out that you're employing 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, you're done. You're done. It doesn't matter how great you are, you're done. You're all over the news, etc. And it doesn't affect the people like Sheen and stuff like that. So, okay, great. Yeah, that's the strategy. Fine. Whether it can be applied, that's my question. Sorry.
Andrew, you're actually speaking, if you were in a situation where you said, do I buy this stock?
Yeah.
You would have closed these accounts and gone, nah, it's too hard to figure out. And you move out. You move on. But I'm just trying to explain to our audience, right, how complex this is. You would be mad. Imagine someone put a gun to your head, Andrew, and said, you've got to pick the right winner. Is this the one that's making you think, I'm definitely going to keep my life tomorrow? No, it's not looking good, Andrew. And this is why I'm trying to do this segment. I'm trying to kind of open our eyes to just why the world is changing in the way we see it. And this is just one sliver. And I hope we can do this in the future just to start making sense of what's going on. Right. Yeah. So faster management of slow moving stock. So the idea is fail early and fast and get rid of the stuff that doesn't work, right? So say they want to improve profitability by over 30%. So what they want to do is exit right out of unprofitable brands and customers. Now that's what I found very interesting. The CEO has said we are prepared to lose customers. They don't want the customers that are just clickarooing and then keeping £10 worth of product and then sending the rest back. They want to focus on their highest earners, and they are prepared to go from 23 million down, right? Which is basically what's happened. You know, in that first article that I showed on ASOS, they're saying that their user base is going down. It's a natural reaction, right? And so it says, while some of these initiatives inevitably led to lower customer acquisition and higher levels of churn, that basically they want to keep the customer. That makes money. Yeah. So the faster we operate, the more we can sell in season and in full price. So that's the point. They've now reduced the number of days of returns from 1 month to 14 working days. And it has to be over a certain amount of threshold. Why? Well, people were just waiting a whole month. By the time the month was done, well, the product's no longer in season. So it's going into the discount rack. It's circulated so many times, it's no longer profitable.
Well, I think, I know I'm no Temu expert, but I think Temu have got a similar policy on returns.
Yeah, well, they've just started from the onset. That's what I'm saying. They've learned from the errors, and they've gone, we're going to give you cheap pricing, but very, very slim window of returns.
Correct.
And the prices are going to be so ridiculous.
And not free.
So you best not even consider it. You best just watch that Chinese guy from Wolly of the Week, of Mensei and Andrew's Wolly of the Week. Do your research first as to whether this works, and it's down to you, mate. It's a market approach. No income tax, no VAT, no money back, no guarantee. That's only horse and horses, right? But that's a classic.
So that's the Jose.
That's Jose's approach. That's Jose's approach, right? Now we're going to go into Mr. Little. I think his name was John Little. John Little. Now, obviously, this is now going to change with the new CEO. Andrew, feel free to Google that offline on who the new CEO is. Again, I keep forgetting his name. But anyway, I'll run through these numbers. So they went down 20% from 2023's figures. They're now at 16.2 million customers. They say that the target addressable market is 500 million customers. And I'm just like, mate, you're not even addressing the small target market in the UK appropriately, let alone mentioning bloody 500 million customers. I mean, Andrew's like, the more educated we become, the more BS we see from these people. It's so easy as a normal layman that, you know, you're just new to the subject to just go, oh my God, he speaks so well. So how intelligent are these people? But really, numbers don't lie.
No, exactly.
This company is screwed. So they're saying that they're going to reduce their operating costs by their operating costs. They've got 125 million analyzed cost savings that are going to happen between FY24 and FY25. Right. So I'm going to explain the ironies behind that in a bit. So they're saying the same thing as ASOS, test and repeat, being able to minimize excess inventory. Straight out of the playbook again. Apparently they've cut down from 13 to 5 brands. Yet we still have the 1,600 brands that we're managing via Debenhams. That doesn't make any sense to me. Someone needs to explain that one to me. So it says, reducing cost by introducing automation to its Sheffield distribution centre. And it's trying to get the cost from, from 38p to 0. And they're saying that they're going to make this distribution centre just like Leeds. But guess what, Andrew?
What?
It's been shut down. So they spent 29 million. Yeah. And now, as of August, I'm going to show you the article in a bit, it's been shut down. So what happened to that cost saving? Well, what are you going to just write that 29 million off and say, oh, well, that's our operational cost savings because we're now not longer going to operate the mistake that we introduced into our strategy in the first place? Andrew, make it make sense to me, right? So let me show you, Andrew, a few articles that are going to show just how compounding this problem is, right? But so far, do you have any questions, Andrew?
No. I'm just... Well, one of the questions I was thinking of, and I'm just quickly doing some Google search, was Pennsylvania.
Well,
I'm no American expert, right?
Yeah.
But when I think of Pennsylvania, I don't think of it being anywhere near where the hip and trendy people are. I know it's a distribution centre.
Yeah, I mean, I say let's not think about the geography. They just wanted something on American soil. So it could be like labor, the cost of the property, all this type of stuff. I mean, we're talking about.
Well, it's one of the poorest states in the US.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's about bringing jobs, all that type of stuff. But look, let's look at kind of what they've said. So Boohoo to close its US warehouse. We haven't even been through a full financial year, and we've already scrapped this and fulfill American orders in the UK. So what you could have done in the first place, what you were doing in the first place, right? So let's look at the article's date. September the 11th, special day for the Americans, and you know, my condolences. So Boohoo, is realigning its operations in the US as part of its strategy to reposition the group for sustainable and profitable growth. What the hell are you talking about? You were failing before this was scrapped. You put it in there to expand sales, and now you're just saying, "Oh, look how operational efficiency again." What the?
Word salad.
It's just smokes and mirrors. The online fashion giant will stop using its. By the way, all of this is alleged. It's not official, even though you're seeing information on the screen. I don't want to hear it from anyone, right? Right. The online fashion giant will stop using its US warehouse in Pennsylvania, which it opened just last August. Okay, blame them. I'm not saying it. They're saying it, yeah? And will now fulfill US orders from its automated distribution center in Sheffield. Andrew, 29 million gone down the
Swanee. Gone down the Swanee. It's gone down the Swanee.
It's mad. Let's go on.
I just.
And look, sorry, and it's got 325 million debt. 25 of that mil is 29 of that mil is now this. It's unnecessary debt. Andrew, they're not going to get their money back for that.
No.
They're just going to have to write it off. And this doesn't just cost 29 million. There's other associated costs in winding this down in the first place. It's bananas, Andrew. Sorry, I'm just so emotional about this. Continue.
But the thing is that so let's look at the reason why they wanted to open this distribution centre. Right. So it was to reduce the cost of getting product to customer, right?
Yeah.
So surely you have to have enough business to warrant a distribution centre.
Yes.
Right. And is there any facts and figures to say that their American business was growing or...
It was the 500 million addressable market. That's it.
Addressable market.
Yeah, this is it.
Addressed market.
Yeah, listen, I have an account. Look, my bank account allows me to hold £1 billion worth of money.
Exactly.
So that means that means that one, that's my addressable market, £1 billion. Well, I mean, is it? Is it right?
It's like I don't know why I was going to talk about chicken and egg and stuff like that, but it doesn't quite work out. It's, you and I are not CEOs. We're not managers. We're not leaders. We're nobodies. Let's face it. We're people that have had experience in business from a sales point and some other points of view, etc. And a lot of what we say is either through research or reading or just personal experiences. But why would you go, right, we're going to sell to America, but in order to sell to America, we need to make sure that we can get the goods to America, because you know what, it's impossible to do from the UK, right?
Well, they said that only about 60% or something like that of their thingy was available down there, and there was all this kind of like, oh, it could just be better because they'll get more access to stuff, it'll be quicker. Oh, mate, get off it, man.
You know what it's like. There's a big difference between potential addressable market and your actual market, your actual customers, right? When you get to a stage where you're creaking, and you're busting at the seams and you think, wow, this is going amazing, right? Then you go, right, okay, let's look at how we can improve this. And it may not be a central distribution. Yeah. It may be, acquiring a company out there that's already got an infrastructure in place, etc., etc. But there are different ways. But I just think that...
Well, that's a good point, Andrew. They doubled down on more product by the acquisition of Debenhams. Yeah. But they didn't acquire a business that just had a footprint.
Exactly.
Oh my God, Andrew, maybe you should be applying for these jobs.
I'm nobody, and that's one of the things that I would think about.
Acquire in areas that you're not strong. Just follow the Google, the Microsoft model. Acquire businesses that have what you don't have. And that is not more product. You're already struggling to shift your product. Yeah. Get something else in a different skill set, right?
And also, we've experienced it in our industry. We've both worked for startups.
We've
and
seen
what
the
is it?
stupidest
They've got this.
decisions sometimes in our stuff. Like we see it at a micro scale.
Well,
'Cause-
that's what I mean. There seems to be this copy and paste format of going to market. Right? Okay, we're going to expand into the US, and into the UK, because there's an addressable market. Is that market appropriate? Is there competition in that market? Will we be a tiny little fish in a massive pond? How much revenue would we have to spend on marketing to get ourselves noticed? Do we have people that can sell in those spaces, etc., etc.? Was any of this considered?
No.
Was any of this looked
and,
at?
and what I see as well, is no, there's all of that, but there's also, oh well, let's just add new product features and more new product features when we haven't even learned how to sell our basic product features.
Yeah. And things like, the other thing is also, it's always the reverse American mentality, where America thinks that Europe is one country. We also think that, well, not us, but a lot of people in the UK, think that America, yes, is one country, but it's not really.
It's
You've
states
got
with different behaviors, different cultures.
States where, you've got culture differences. You've got, like you say, behavioural, money. There are some states that are on their knees. Pennsylvania, Detroit, those sort of cities on their knees. Now, you can't just talk about America. You've got to, maybe, if you want to go, right, where's the money in America? I don't know, Vegas or New York or whatever. Well, let's start there.
Yeah, a mini distribution center. Yeah. Oh, it's just so many ways of approaching this. But yeah, so right, let's look at so now, do we both agree that one of the key strategy pillars, which was his expansion into the US via this thing, it's now gone down the we both agree, right? Well, let's look at the second headline, right? So that was September the 11th. We're now running on the 18th of October, right?
Right.
Boohoo considers breakup as sales slide. What could this breakup be? Is it a breakup of colleagues? Is it a breakup? Are they breaking bread? Well, let's find out. Right. Boohoo is planning a major restructure that could see the breakup of the struggling online fashion firm whose brands include Debenhams, Karen Millen. Don't get me started on Karen Millen. And Pretty Little Thing. Basically, three names that shouldn't even be in the same sentence. But anyway, the companies...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like saying, I'm going to have dinner tonight. I'm going to have...
well, it's just like a classic joke. A Turk, a Colombian, and an Irishman walk into a pub.
Yeah. I'm going to order a takeaway today. I'm going to order a Vietnamese spring rolls, pizza, and a curry.
Yeah, with rice cakes on the side.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that might be a golden combination, by the way, Andrew. Let's not
It might be.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, that could be for the thumbnail. We might try that out. Anyway, the company said it was reviewing options after concluding that its business remained fundamentally undervalued. Fundamentally undervalued? Really? I mean, with all these L's, I'm not sure, guys. While Boohoo benefited from its surge from online shopping during the pandemic, it subsequently struggled against the likes of China's Shein and Temu. Straight out of the horse's mouth. Analysts said Boohoo was likely to blah, blah, blah. It's likely on offloading Debenhams and Karen Millen to concentrate on a younger target market. So it's just mad. It started off with 20-something-year-olds. Oh no, dude! Like, all of these failing companies, we're just gonna acquire them, and people will just come and buy it, right? All of a sudden, my mum, God bless her soul, right? She would have started going to Boohoo.com, according to these people. And yeah, I mean, it's no shit. Sorry for the swearing. Yeah. Anyway, selling Karen Millen and Debenhams is obvious starting point, leaving Boohoo with sharper focus on the younger target market. Well, Boohoo bought Karen Millen for $18.2 billion.
Wow.
And it bought the Debenhams for 55. So we've got a 29 million loss from Pennsylvania. We've got a potential loss of 55 million. That's just the acquisition price, guys. That's just the acquisition price. And then we've got another 18.2 million.
Right. So can I just, again, tell me if I'm being stupid. So you're a retail company, et cetera, and you've decided you want to buy Debenhams for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Now, you and I know Debenhams is not exactly known for its online market. right? You know, hip young people going online, etc., etc. Debenhams was a store or a shop floor with lots of brands hiring space. Yeah, I can't remember the name. Concessions.
Yeah.
Yep. That was their business model. They were struggling in that business model. Yeah, and they were in a bit of trouble. Now, if you're going to buy Debenhams, right, what world made you think that they had a loyal customer base? Because that customer base wasn't going into Debenhams for Debenhams. That customer base was going in there to look at the concession that was selling shoes, the concession that was selling shirts, you know,
Andrew,
dresses,
I don't understand it.
right?
Andrew,
There
I
was
don't
no one
understand
going, oh, I must have a Debenhams branded whatever, because there wasn't really, yeah? So if you're going to buy Debenhams, then fine. It's a brick and mortar business. Keep it as a brick and mortar business. Maybe, you know, streamline it, cut costs, whatever, close down non-profitable areas or whatever it may be. But they just closed a lot and thought that they've got an online customer base that's loyal.
55 million as well, mate. I could tell you what, the selling price on that would be probably about 20 now. Because it's another L. Anyway,
and the, you know, the early loss of you know, the penalties for coming out of leases early, the staff. I don't get it. I don't get it. I didn't get that acquisition at all. You know, and as I say, I don't pretend to know about these things, but Debenhams and Karen Millen, you just do not associate with this brand at all.
So check this out, right? So on Friday, so that was that particular week, which is October the 18th, the company had reported that sales had fallen by 15% to 620 million for the 6 months of the end of August. So that's the whole of the summer period plus the spring, right? 620 million, mate. If you add Christmas to that, I mean, we said in the slide deck, we said that their earnings were for last year were 1.4 million, right, in 2023.
Yeah.
If they've made 620 million in 6 months, I mean, I know they've got the Christmas period to come, but Andrew, it's not looking good. It looks like they just might hit 1.2 billion. So that's further failures, plus all of those losses that they've taken on those 4 projects. It's going to be mad. And then this is the last thing that really got me thinking. Miss Shuttleworth added that the core Boohoo shopper had grown up. So what are we saying? I mean, who is Miss Shuttleworth, by the way?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, it's just a random woman. Hold on. Who's Miss Shuttleworth?
I don't know.
It's weird. I can't see any reference to her.
Anyway. Oh, hang on.
Oh, wait. Said Miss Shuttleworth. This is all about Miss Shuttleworth. Retail analyst, right? Catherine, Catherine, right.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell did that come?
Interviewing this retail analyst.
Yeah, but the moral story is, it's not going well. Apparently it's grown up. I don't know what this company's going to do. Now, Andrew, why on earth am I, giving Boohoo such a hard time? Right, so let's think about this properly. If we think about the group's priorities, so this is a lesson on how to spot a very, very, very chaotic company. So I'm going to share my screen with you, Andrew. Let's go for this one. Right. So these are the strategic priorities. Okay. So this is the annual accounts, page 12. Right. So our strategy. What separates the group from other apparel retailers? A diverse brand portfolio. Does ASOS have a diverse brand portfolio?
No, they're just ASOS. They don't sell anything else.
Right. So with 5 core brands, 8 labels, and marketplace model, the group can address the needs of customers across a wide demographic. Well, we've just said that that's been a failure.
Yep.
So can we strike that one off? Can we strike that one off, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's move on to a flexible and agile sourcing model. Okay, allowing the group to operate with speed, underpinning its fashion credentials and ability to disrupt, giving more choice, back to choice, minimizing risk, And a great value for customers. Could we maybe qualify that as a word salad?
Absolutely, because I didn't understand what any of that meant.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just a lot of great words that sound great, yeah, but is it what the customer wants?
Well, apparently, yeah. You know, I like a bit of scalability. You know me, right?
Yeah.
A scalable in-house platform with proprietary technology offering an e-commerce expertise and best-in-class logistics, which have just basically been cut down by 50% by the closing of Pennsylvania's warehouse, and great customer experience. Right, so we can say that these three differentiators are a little bit, right?
Well, they're not differentiators, mate. They're
I
not
don't,
differentiators.
I don't think so. And
No.
you
So
know,
basically, what he's saying is he's going to give, he's going to have fewer brands, have less choice, yeah, and
basically everything that contradicts these differentiators. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to run through these quickly, and it's a masterclass in BS and why we're getting all these headlines in there, and it's important, Andrew, because that's what we do. We analyze business, right? So what will drive profitable growth, right? Extensive, diverse brand portfolio. Well, we know that that's kind of a big question mark right now from what we've just read. So we could strike that off. Debenhams, our digital department store, unlocking Debenhams' significant potential for market share gains. Andrew, you've eloquently summed it up for the audience. There was no customer loyalty with Debenhams, right? So this doesn't make any sense. Automation efficiencies. Maybe there's hope around this because we must admit that the Leeds warehouse is fantastic, and maybe you know it is really good. Leeds is actually a great area for a distribution center here in the UK.
Geographically as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Amazing.
It's brilliant. Like this is no shade on Leeds. The completion of a state-of-the-art automation project in Sheffield. Oh, sorry, I meant Sheffield, not Leeds. Sheffield Distribution Centre drives.
It's up north.
Oh God, yeah. Efficiencies and group's ability to scale during the FY24 peak season. There was eight times pickup rate improvement and cost throughout the thing. So that's legitimate. We could put a tick on that. Like Sheffield, brilliant. Sorry, Leeds. Cost savings programs. Well, that's been. Just forget about it. Forget about it. We've just made an L in America, and we've just bought a load of companies that we may not need in the future. That's been struck off immediately. Being closer to our customer. The opening of the US distribution center. Well, we can scrap that, right? So we've got one. We've got one so far. Agreed, yeah? Supply chain opportunities. The group continues to look to drive speed, turn inventory faster, and utilize cost opportunities. A global supplier base reduces the risk of disruption. Okay, we'll give them two.
I just want to harp. I know I'm harping on here, right? Are they saying that the reason their customer base has gone down, right, or one of the reasons is because they're not getting goods to the customer fast enough?
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, I'm sorry, but no.
No, and Andrew, look, I think I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop, right? Because
I'd like you to do the next one, because the next one also interests me.
Using technology to help drive customer engagement. An app-first approach to technology investments will improve better engagement, ensuring a shopper experience that matches. Again, look, a mobile app, guys, let's stop this. We can actually talk about this. Let's stop this. Let's absolutely stop this. You started off with technology. You were technology only. How is that part of your major strategy? And Andrew, I now will stop you because I really don't want to.
Listen. So again, you know what? I'd appreciate all of this if it started with our research has shown that we are losing business because of this, and this, right? You know, customer engagement. You know, maybe customers are dropping off at the shopping basket level, or you know, customers are no longer ordering because they're complaining that deliveries are taking too long. Well, hang on a second. A lot of your customers are now willing to wait up to 5 weeks to order from Temu or Shein, for delivery. So that's down the drain, right? What is the reason? Have they gone to the reason of what it is that's making customers move away?
No.
And none of this answers that.
No.
It just says a load of things that we're going to do, and because it sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds fair. There's always a technology, there's always distribution, there's always the words cost cutting, streamlining. They are just copy and paste words that you see anywhere.
And you know what? You could really accuse us for not understanding ASOS, not understanding thingy. But the fact of the matter is, guys, why have we done this exercise? When we look at the news, and this is why we need to understand, when we look at the news, you see the headlines, 1,000 jobs lost, this company's closing down, that company's closing down. We've got the government, and you know, quite rightly so, or maybe not quite rightly so, putting stringent tax regulations on companies that are making business hard for this specific retail sector. So we've got regulation issues. We've got an external company that has various legitimate advantages over our native company, our native company. So the fact that they're far away with even longer delivery times and all this type of stuff, it means nothing, right? Because they're killing us on price. They've got cheaper labor, sometimes even slave labor, and we can go into that in other episodes. Less regulation, and on top of that, they're paying less tax. And they're scaling across the world. So you got that threat. And on top of that, you have the worst strategies and such little understanding of your own business.
And customers.
Andrew, they would have been better off getting that 29 million and paying for a whole group of analysts. I'm talking about 1,000 analysts. Fix this business. Fix this business. Or whatever. I don't know. Get in another CEO. Get in whatever it may be. But yeah,
I would love to see. I would love to see what has driven this statement. I would love to, because they must have got analysts, they must have got reports. I would love to see what has driven this statement. Because for me, it would be, it needs to be. This is the reason we've done this statement. Because at the moment, it just looks like, well, I'm going to put all of this down because it just sounds really cool and the thing to do.
Andrew, I'm now learning the hard way, right? We and this is why we do this podcast. You watch all these finance channels, right? You watch all these business analysts. They use these big words. They use, they make you feel stupid. Oh, I couldn't possibly understand this. It's not that complex. They make the language complex. But, I remember I used to work in retail. I used to work in Monsoon. And, it's kind of like when you go behind the curtain and you just find out, oh, this is a very basic business. There's no hidden stock room. It's just grab a product, put it out there, comes in boxes. Okay, we tell the area manager what sells very well. They tell the thingy in the top and they change the thingy a little bit. Yes, it's their business is to respect. But once you see behind the curtain and you meet some of the people that make these decisions and how much power they have with such little education or insight into the business, right? You go, I can understand how some of these problems compound, right? I completely get it. And I think with Boohoo, it's worse because, well, it's all online anyway. So we are seeing the majority of it. As consumers, we see the ads on our Facebook, on our Facebook, on our Instagram. We see a lot of the operations as consumers, right? And we're seeing the way our kids are behaving towards online shopping now. Mate, the wave of Shein products that goes into my daughter's house, it's ridiculous.
I just think that some of these organisations have this outer persona of we're online, we're digital, we're hip, we're current. I still don't think they utilise the technology in properly. To engage with customers, to look at customer behaviour, etc. Now, again, this may be for another time, but there's technology out there that uses the loyalty card and the system to not only understand the behaviour that customers have, what do they buy, how often, who they are, etc., but can actually influence what they buy, when they buy, how much they buy. I had a really good meeting with a company that's into that. And, another time I'll dig a little bit deeper into that. But I was amazed at what is achievable.
Mate,
and-
Google dunnhumby. They've been at this for years. They're a Tesco company. This isn't me telling any secrets. They're a Tesco company, and they're innovating to the point where they follow customers' eyes around the store.
Thank you.
Right? I mean, this is real sophisticated stuff, right? Anyway, sorry, Andrew.
Well, I'll give you an idea. When I spoke to this gentleman, one of the examples he gave me is that they have a Burger King. This is in America, right? They have a Burger King loyalty program on your phone. Your phone tracks where you are, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. And they had this thing, they did this campaign where if a customer was anywhere near a McDonald's or a McDonald's driveway, boom, Burger King burger for 10 cents. People were turning round at the McDonald's drive-thrus, right? There is lots that can be done. That's why I asked you to read that last section, because I could see how small it was and it didn't say anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, there's they do explain it a bit more, but again, nothing innovative there whatsoever. No. So yeah, Andrew, I thought that would be an interesting segment. It's a bit of a deep dive. I hope it wasn't boring, because this has been a second time round for you, but I think we did it a bit different this time round than the first time.
I think, you know what, I think it was probably a good benefit to the audience.
Yeah,
because it was
bloody boring the way I did it last week.
It was a lot more fluid.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
But
well, you gave me some good feedback, so I do listen to my sensei. So Andrew, I think it's that time now, the grand finale. You must bless us with your final thoughts. Tell us, what do you think of today's episode?
I really enjoyed today's episode. I'll be honest with you. I found the first bit hilarious. Especially with your humble comment about possibly taking
us
down
influencing the market. Temu, I mean, what the hell was I smoking? Anyway, you'll let me live that down now.
It's a good bit of fun. I really enjoyed that section on Boohoo and ASOS, I must admit, and it made me realise that, you know what, I don't see ASOS parcels and things like that, and I had two kids in their target market at the time. And my final thoughts are, the UK retail industry is in big trouble. Even when you've got the king, Primark, showing red flags, well, you know what? It's hard times ahead. I know there'll be Christmas in 8 weeks or whatever it is, and they'll have a nice flurry.
It won't save us. It won't save us, Andrew.
Yeah, even then, I think the figures after Christmas will be quite disappointing. And you know what? We've got the cost of living, and I know everybody says it. We've got the cost of living. We've got the pressure from the government and the tax reforms that they've done. We've got the increase in, we didn't even touch upon that, the increase on business rates. The cost of national insurance and the increase in minimum wage. Minimum wage should be increased, no doubt about that, but the onslaught from the Far East, from these things, we didn't even touch on Alibaba. And I know loads of people that buy from there as well. So they've got it tough. They've got it tough coming, and we're
all going to be hit. We're all going to be hit by this. It's one less industry, right? We remember we're one of the fashion capitals of the world.
Yeah, well, you can see that.
This is it.
Yeah.
Actually, I made an effort for this episode.
Yeah, you've got a jacket on.
Well, this is it. Yeah, I got a bit of feedback from someone saying that I look like a slob on the call, so I decided to keep my shirt and my blazer on today. Wow. I didn't mean today to be doom and gloom, but I would most definitely encourage our audience, as you start trying to understand your world, and if you do want to embark on understanding business a bit better, read these annual accounts, especially when the businesses are failing. Oh Lord, do you learn? Because you will hear all the excuses under the sun, but there's going to be common themes, right, that are going to be picked up. And you know what? They're all saying 3 things to us. They're saying we messed up with operations.
Yep.
They're all saying we've got to do trial and testing, which means
Yeah.
we're getting really murdered by the Chinese, right?
Yeah, and what they should be saying as well is we messed up with acquisitions.
Yes, absolutely. Both ASOS with Topshop,
Yeah.
and these lot with again, even the ASOS acquisition with Topshop didn't make any sense. You already kind of had a Topshop in the way you operate.
You were the Topshop replacement.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been really fun. So next week.
Well, next week, I'm hoping if we've got time, I'd like to touch upon the ingredient sector.
Yes.
Ingredient delivery sector.
Yeah.
If we have time.
We will.
And next week there's going to be the announcement of the winner of the prize for the competition.
Yep.
Yeah. And hopefully I'll be able to unwrap my Temu delivery.
Oh, brilliant! And I will be covering pet food. I don't own a pet. I don't own a pet, but I'm hearing amazing things about the pet industry. So I'm going to come out of my my comfort zone and talk about something that I know nothing about and I'm not really that passionate about. But money's behind
that's
it.
fantastic.
But,
and you know what? Again, and I think I touched upon it last time or the episode that we didn't quite record.
Yeah.
We're both salespeople, right? And I know, Lindsay, you're an avid investor, and you look at, investment portfolios for the future, and we touch upon that on our retirement and that. And you've certainly given me a lot of great tips, to be honest. But I think the key takeaway from today is reading the annual reports. If you're an investor, do it. If you're a salesperson, do it. If you're a person that's looking to start their career and you want to know what sector or how you want to do it,
100% do it.
Oh
my God! Imagine getting into the fashion industry right now. Yeah. Oh my God, Andrew, thank you. That's a fantastic take. If you've got 13-year-old kids and they're like, we want to get into this or whatever, read it with them. Yeah. Help them understand it.
Well, I remember my oldest daughter wanted to be I don't know the technical word for it, but it was the window dressing.
Yeah.
There's a word for it.
Merchandiser.
Merchandise, visual merchandise. So she wanted to be with that. Luckily she got bored of it and decided to go another way. But where's that industry now? Visual merchandising. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's basically now combined with like media, photography, all that type of stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
It's interesting.
So annual reports. Yes, they can be boring, but there are also a lot of AI systems you can use out there that will condense it, notify it for you. Give you the bullet points and thing it. But no matter what you're doing in life, investing, looking for a career, being a salesperson, whatever it may be, that's a really good source of information starting point.
Brilliant.
All right, good tip on Mincy there. Absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, we're gonna then leave you with our outro music, which happens to also be our intro music. Yeah. Thank you very much, audience, and on to the next one. Next one will be episode 10.
10 double digits.
Double digits, exactly. Bye, everyone. Take care. Thanks.